Frank, when I first joined this group, I was a loner. And this group showed me what family is, what community is. So by me being eligible for parole, when I go home, now I know how to be a good neighbor. I open my arms to the community, and hopefully they'll open their arms back to me. And I've learned all this just from this simple group, GOGI. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Glenn Wilson. I would define a good neighbor as someone, thanks to the tools in this group, as someone who lives a life of service to better his community. You know, I know what it means to be a bad neighbor, to be to not contribute to the community, and now I believe, I know what it takes to serve my community and uplift my community and just help whoever is in need in the community, and by conducting introspection within myself and fixing myself first and foremost, I can adequately help the others in my community. Thank you.
My name is Kevin Hindmarsh. The way I define a good neighbor is someone who has the empathy for other people as they have for themselves. To sit there to have this, understand that these people in the community have the same wants and values and needs that they themselves have, and to respect that. There's been times in my life when I haven't been that respectful, and this group here has taught me to sit there to see them in that way.
Hi, my name is Albert. For me, the way I define a good neighbor is somebody who's respectful and somebody that's helpful. I think when we use the word respect, a lot of times we just throw it out there and we don't really go by the definition of respect. The definition of respect is somebody who is careful not to violate somebody else's space or dignity. And that's very important to be aware of that, to live like that. And with not just the people that you like, with everybody, so that everybody around you is safe. Because that's really what a good neighbor is all about. Somebody that you're safe around and that you have good vibes around, you know what I mean? That's what, for me, a good neighbor is.
Hi, my name is Bill Baymiller, and I define a good neighbor. I lived my first 53 years of my life out there on the streets being a good neighbor. I was a homeowner, a business owner. Then I went through some trials in life, later in life, and started drinking again and using drugs, and that kind of took me to the thing. But I also know that if you want to, like Albert said, you want to be you want to have a safe neighborhood. You want to have a neighborhood watch. You want to have parties. Like if I used to put on a 4th of July party and there was no alcohol served at those parties. If somebody wanted to drink, they could bring their own alcohol. But you just want a safe house, and you want to get to know people. If you move into the neighborhood, go around, knock on doors, introduce yourself. Tell them if they need anything, you'd be happy to help them. And that's how I describe a good neighbor.
Hi, my name is Andre, and I would agree with all of my brothers here. And to me, a good neighbor is one who goes out of their way to be useful and helpful to the next man, no matter what they look like, skin color, ethnicity, religion, anything like that. Someone who recognizes that they're part of a whole, that they are not individuals, or they are individuals, but they're part of a larger community. Someone that's willing to put others above themselves, but yet know their boundaries, not be overbearing or overstep their boundaries. Someone that goes out of their way to get to know the norms of the neighborhood and in the community, that way they can be a productive member of that community.
My name is Miguel, and everyone here has great input regarding what a good neighbor, is defined as, and I think we are the perfect candidates to really make a judgment call on that, because as convicted felons, we have been deprived of our freedom because of our behavior and our conduct. So being away from our families, we get a little bit of time to acknowledge what has transpired in our lives. How did we get to this point, And GOGI gives us the ability to recognize that, One of the things that we realize when we're in here in prison is the fact that in the land that we left behind, it's like we're on a ship out to sea, and life goes on out there. Our moms get older, our sisters and brothers, move on with their lives. Our nieces and nephews get older, they get married, and they have children. And we're still in this setting because we did not value what a good neighbor was, or you know, those who were around us. So we are learning how to define a good neighbor by the community in which we are living, by respecting one another, being mindful of one another. And so those are the things that now we are getting a new definition of what a good neighbor is based on our mistakes, based on the things that we know we have done wrong, and we have taken responsibility. We have claimed responsibility, as one of the tools of GOGI tells us. We have claimed responsibility for our actions, you know, making our future brighter.
My definition of a good neighbor is somebody who's selfless, who's prepared to give back to society around him and just be of service.
Hello, my name is Kenneth Brown Jr. How would I include the GOGI tools in being a good neighbor? What set of tools come to mind is the tools of choice. I like that because it gives me, it's already something I've been doing. I've always been the person that you can come and talk to. I've been the person that if you're having a certain type of mind frame or having a certain type of day, I can give you some type of words to end up changing it. And I do believe that the way you think, the way you talk, it will lead to the way you act. So the tools of choice has given me the opportunity to be a good neighbor in every place I've been. And it's given me the words, the wisdom, and now I'm maturing. It has given me, making me into the man I want to be. Thank you.
My name is Terry Pettis. How would you include the GOGI tools in being a good neighbor? For me, I use the tool forgive. And why I say forgive is because at one point in time, I harmed my community. At one time, I harmed my neighbor. And forgive isn't just forgive saying, I forgive my fellow man or fellow woman. Forgive is being safe from harm to being an act of service. And so that's what I'm trying to include to you in GOGI. What GOGI says is that I have to be safe from harm so I can give to be an act of service. So for me to be able to give to my community, I need to be safe. I need to be away from the madness of my life. I need to be away from the madness in my world because I have to be able to help my neighbor. So for me, that is the one GOGI tool that allowed me to be a great neighbor. Thank you.